Accountability Agency, which is supposed to work with the Budget Office, which is also being established by the National Assembly, mirrored on what they have in the United States. Now, if we have these agencies on board, which we think will be passing into law before the end of the year, then we should have an agency that will give us non-partisan, non-ideological facts and figures on what is happening in our economy, what is happening with MDGs to assist us to take the right decisions to get to the targets by 2015. So we're looking good. We're looking good in the sense that we're doing things that have never been done before, and we're getting full cooperation of the executive arm of government, which is highly unusual in this part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to put a question to me?
Yes, I would love to. I would love to know, I would love to have more ideas about what parliamentarians and elected leaders can do to achieve some of these MDGs. Your experience on your side. I would like to know whether you have the same challenges that the federal government has with state government, like we have here, and what are the solutions in which you provide for that. And like I said, whatever addition you could tell us in improving our system on accountability as well, given the efforts that we've made in the last few years.
So, well, the first point is that the Parliament has an important role to control the government and what the government do in order to give assistance, to give funds to countries which are interested in having resources for reaching the Millennium Goals. That is the first role we have. The second role we have is to sensibilize the public opinion in our countries that the resources that we give to developing countries are not just a gift, but are important for the whole development of the world and for the humanity. And that is the second point. And the third point is what we try to do is to develop also contacts like what we are doing at the moment now with other parliaments in order to exchange views and experience about what is done and what are the results and how far we can be happy with these results. We had a conference, an interparliamentarian conference at the start of July in Rome with also a representative of your house, of the house who you are the speaker, and we had a discussion in this situation just before the G8 in L'Aquila in Italy about what Parliament can do for help the reaching of the Millennium Goals. It was a very useful, would I say, meeting, and we had the impression that the convergence was very high, and the idea to establish in different countries, in the different countries, also subcommittees for control and check and monitor the realization of the reaching of Millennium Goals was, would say, important suggestion, and was also shared. So what you said about this committee in your parliament is coherent with our discussion in Rome of start of July. The question, what can we suggest about the accountability and about the functioning of the administration in your country? It is very difficult to say and to give in this way suggestion, because each country has different tradition, different habits, and different problems, if you want. But what you told me about Parliament, government the federation and the states, it led now to me that Nigeria is a very big country with more than 30 federated states, and I can just imagine how difficult and how really not easy it is to control and to monitor what all is doing and done in the different states and different parts of the countries. So I would say that is the answer of your question.
I'm going to pretend that I understand that answer. Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
No, if you, I would put another question to you. It is, if you think that a country like Italy, what could more do a country like Italy in order to help, to give suggestions to a country like your country, also other countries in Africa, for the reaching of the goals?
Well, but my take on the answer you've given us, and perhaps in furtherance to the question you asked, is the fact that we've realized in this part of the world, and indeed in Nigeria, that the challenges in meeting the MDGs has to do with how we develop those institutions that are supposed to make government accountable. We have so far in our history been referring to strong individuals instead of strong institutions, and it's like we've just woken up from our slumber to realize that, like President Obama said, we don't need strong individuals. In fact, they always end up being always personalizing governments anyway. So, if we can develop the only body in governance that has a constitutional authority to ask questions about how this money is spent, which is the national assemblies of these countries in this part of the world, then we can begin to meet our targets on economic development and on MDGs. But in most parts of sub-Saharan Africa, in nearly all parts of sub-Saharan Africa, little regard is given to those national assemblies, which is supposed to be representative of the people, because they're the youngest arm of government, because the people of those countries do not even understand the powers they have, because they've been used to dictatorship, and because the West, if I may say, has always been doing business with dictatorship. Now, things are changing. The powers belongs to the people. The people must now, over the next 10, 20 years, begin to claw back this power to ask questions about how their funds are being spent. Until that happens, we may not have a clear picture on hitting serious economic targets for development or MDG targets. But as it is now, with the little funds that we can muster, whether through debt relief, whether through increased aggressive revenue generation, it is still not the kind of funds we require to hit those targets. If there is no serious change in trade deficits or trade surpluses or trade balance of trade and the rest of it, we're not going to have improvement in this part of the world for development and therefore community. So my concern truly should be to begin to look at commitment by the G8 to Africa as far as the Ghana goes, which is due in 2010. Commitment to climate change, which are pretty weak. Although the summit in Denmark in November is critical to how we will improve or make poverty worse or economies increase or worse in sub-Saharan Africa. Those are the real targets. We've actually set up a committee on climate change in the Parliament now that's beginning to monitor what is going to happen in Copenhagen and what's going to happen post-Copenhagen. If we can have serious intake into that. And of course, Nigeria has its own presentation to make for about 3 days in Copenhagen so that we can begin to network between all parliaments. If we can get, serious commitment from the G8, serious commitment from serious-minded countries who are truly interested in hitting economic development targets in sub-Saharan Africa hitting energy targets